At Sierra, discover top workout gear at incredible prices, which might lead to another discovery. Your headphones haven't been connected this whole time. Awkward. Discover top brands at unexpectedly low prices. Sierra, let's get moving.
We're here because your heightened awareness deserves heightened entertainment. The Last Show with David Cooper.
Barbie, the doll. She's always been about imagination, fantasy for kids, but now it's about recognition. Let's talk about what it means when a kid finally sees neurodiversity reflected on the toy shelf, thoughtfully and intentionally, as Barbie launches its first autistic doll. I'm here with Professor of History of Science at the University of Toronto, Marga Vicedo, to discuss just this. Marga, welcome to the show.
Hello, thanks for having me. Happy to be here.
When you first heard Mattel was going to create and launch Autistic Barbie, what was your gut reaction on this? Were you excited? Were you skeptical? Maybe a bit of both?
Both, you're right. On the one hand, as you can imagine, I think it is very good that we have representations that we have dolls that represent more than one segment of society. The world is very diverse. That's the main characteristic of our world. And it is important that we don't have only the first Barbie. So that's very exciting. On the other hand, I still remain a little bit skeptical because we are talking, as you said, about neurodiversity. Neuro means, a different way of thinking and feeling. This is not something that you'd see just by looking at the person. So it's, how do you represent this? I mean, how do you express that a person is sort of wired differently as autistic people are? I mean, through the face and the physical characteristics. I think it is the biggest challenge and one that it is. Autistic Barbie has been out only for a few days. And from what I see in the discussions, there is already a lot of debate about this. I mean, can you do this? Can you provide an image of a neurodivergent person and of autism in particular, right?
I mean, I do think the answer to that question is no, but that doesn't mean you can't represent the doll that way, which I guess is what Mattel is trying to do. Why would they do this? I assume there's good reasons. I'm excited about it, but why would the average person who's listening, why should they be excited about it?
The average person or the company? The company, I mean, let's be honest. I mean, it's a company that aims to sell dolls. I mean, they just started with one, and in 1958, I believe, and in the 60s, as the times were changing, and we realized, that not everybody in the world is, blonde and thin and white, and other people have to be recognized and valued. They introduced other dolls, right? With dolls with black skin, and they introduced also dolls that had some disability, like there is the Barbie that uses a wheelchair. So they've been increasing the diversity, which is all good. And of course, autism is very visible today. There are a lot of discussions about the increasing rise of autism and what the spectrum means. So I think they realize, okay, they can get the attention of the consumers and they can sell dolls. So that's for the company. We cannot blame them for that. They aim to sell. So, but for the rest of us, why would the average person want to have dolls, in this case, that represent autism or other ways of, neurodivergence? I think there are good reasons. I mean, first of all, we want our dolls and our toys in general to represent the diversity of people, the diversity of cultures. So that's a good thing.
Visibility is not a bad thing. I mean, that would be my main kind of instinct on this one, but please do go on.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. There is, having a more diverse representation of people in our toys and in our dolls, including Barbie. It's a good thing. Then there is the question that we can discuss a little bit more later if you want, of whether they, what this particular Barbie has been able to accomplish or not, or whether it represents autistic people. But I think for the general people, or for parents or families who do not have autistic children or autistic people among them, there can be something good too, in the sense that just getting this doll may open a space for conversation, may open a space for discussing with their children. You know what? Not everybody is like you. There are other people who, have a different way of relating, of communicating, of reacting. And it's good for you to know, so that you don't bully them, that you don't disregard them, that you value the way they express themselves and they relate to you. So there are many positive things that we can do with.
I think starting those conversations with children is a wonderful positive, but let's talk about what you mentioned earlier, this idea of neurodivergence. This is something that's happening mainly in your brain, and Barbie seeks to represent autism through physical traits, maybe accessories that the doll has. Is there a problem with that, or can we see some problem with that?
Yeah, I think you just said at the beginning that you don't think neurodiversity can be represented through the expression of the body or the representation of the body. And I think I agree with you. I think this is the biggest challenge. How do you represent it in a visual way? There is no single way that autistic people look. They look like many different ways. So you cannot tell that the person is autistic just by looking at them. So this is, I think, not something that if you look at autistic Barbie, you can say, oh, it's an autistic doll. I don't think this is, easy to make and easy to do. And I don't think, in that sense, the doll is very successful. Now, the way they try to deal with this is by giving the doll accessories, which are tools that an autistic person may use, right? I don't know if you've seen the doll, but it comes with a tablet.
Fidget spinner, noise canceling headphones, and a tablet showing some sort of communication app that someone who's autistic may use. Are we stereotyping there a little bit?
Exactly. So I was thinking about this because I actually wrote a short paper yesterday and it was quite critical of what the doll may accomplish. And then I said, okay, Marga, let's step back and focus also on the positives. What can it do? And I try to think about, well, what are the benefits of these accessories? And this, I thought, is the clearest way that you can show, let's say, a child or an individual who doesn't know anything about autism, that autistic people may need, they don't all need this, but they may need some tools to be able to interact with other people or to communicate with them in ways that are not the standard ways or the neurotypical ones. So in that sense, I mean, having these gadgets or accessories they given to autistic Barbie could be useful, again, as a piece of conversation. Well, why do autistic people need this? Are they sensitive to noise? Do they communicate in ways that are different from yours? All of that, right? But then I also thought, as you're probably thinking, about the drawbacks, that if we focus only on that, are we not making sort of a stereotype?
Yeah. Well, thank you for the mostly positive impression of this new autistic Barbie with some points of minor concern, Marga. I've enjoyed the chat with you. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Okay, thank you for having me. And let's hope the conversation continues.
Marga Vicedo is a professor of the history of science at the University of Toronto.
Welcome to Survivor 50.
February 25th on Global.
We chose you to represent 25 years of the greatest adventure on television.
It's the biggest season ever.
The twist is going to open up Pandora's box.
Now I see Zach Brown on Survivor.
Welcome to Survivor, Mr. Beast.
Feels a little like a high school reunion meets a massacre.
Survivor 50th season, Wednesday, February 25th on Global. Stream on Stack TV.